This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' three-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey, where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space. G'day everyone and welcome back to another massive episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast. As always, brought to you by the American Aces and our wonderful sponsor, Brooke at Brookes Blooms, who we love and adore. What an enormous week it was. What a game it was on Saturday. We'll get into that soon. But of course, my name is Adzi, and with me, my best mate, who I just had a lovely dinner with a couple of days ago at his beautiful house in Brisbane. For those who are keen to know, I've just driven back from Brisbane to make it back in time for the podcast, and I was on time, which is great. But of course, my best mate, Joshy. How you going, mate?
I'm good. Thank you, Adam. It's been it feels like it was yesterday that you were here, mate, and we had dinner together. But you've done very well getting all the way home and making it for this film for the podcast. Now, I must say, like leaving yesterday and being there today, it must have been a long trek for you.
Well, it was. We left so it's 6 o'clock now on the Tuesday. I left at, what time did I leave? I had to get up and obviously watch NFL football. So I got up at 3 a.m, watched all the NFL through to 6, watched the second slate of games through to 9, had a nice little nap. Kim did her workout. Then we left at about 11, got into Sydney at about 9 p.m, set the alarm for 3:50 a.m, and then off we hop at 4 a.m. So, and just got here before, did a nice little grocery shop, and it's a nice drive, mate. I actually don't mind it. Remember the drive we did going up to when you obviously moved, and we drove up to Brisbane and stayed in those places, and we had to try and pry a trailer from somewhere because your dad was due a trailer from somewhere, which was. That's for another time, that story, because that was quite funny. But yeah, the drive was good.
It's funny you bring that up. Jeez, that was I forgot about that actually. It isn't a bad drive.
Did he end up getting his trailer?
Nah, he never got it. So for those that want to know and are curious, Dad's gone and ordered the trailer, and the bloke didn't get back to him. So we were like, righto, we'll go and visit it because it's on the way up to Brisbane. It's about, 3/4 of the way here from Melbourne. So we called in, and Adzi and I and my brother Kyle was driving in his ute as well. So he was sort of following us and called into this bloke, and I can't remember what his name was or what the business name was, but we thought he was legit, and he's not legit because he's never got the trailer back. So that deposit's gone, and never heard from him ever again. So must have done a runner.
And then the whole way back to Brisbane, you and Kaiser were essentially arguing.
Well, it was me that was saying it was legit, and Kaiser saying it wasn't. So
yeah, that's right.
And then Dad rang in here, and we were like having a to and fro, and it just got heated. So we just left it, didn't we?
Anyway, move on from the trailers. We usually touch on the game later on, but I reckon we should touch on it now because what an unbelievable game it was. Obviously, you guys went up to Sydney, and second biggest comeback in the history of AFL finals football, I believe. You guys were down by 44 points at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter. Mate, just talk us through the game. What an incredible game to watch. I was out of my freaking couch screaming my head off.
It was an amazing win to be a part of. I mean, I've sort of talked about it on radio a couple of days ago, but the way that it sort of transpired, I felt like if you look at it in two halves, the first half, we were 19 or 20 points down at half time, and we just weren't playing anywhere near our best football. So kind of had the confidence that even though we were down, we still had a chance, and if we got our game going, that we could score quickly and give ourselves a look. And midway through the third quarter, the Giants came out with the heat that, all good teams do and put it on us. But then to get a few goals at the end of that third quarter, then they kicked a couple back. But I feel like we had all the momentum into three-quarter time. And we just talked about, let's just go out there, just backs against the wall as we have all season, really, and just play our way and back it in. If we finish up tonight, then we finish up tonight. If we don't, well, we're on to the next week. So that was a bit of the attitude towards the last quarter. And as soon as we got a roll on, it felt like, there was no stopping us. So it was an incredible win. I never really thought, as I said already, that we were going to lose it, because I felt like if we had got our game going, we'll definitely give ourselves a look.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you probably would have been, let's be honest, you would have been one of very, very, very few that probably was thinking that externally watching the game. I certainly thought that being in Sydney and the momentum just clearly looked like it was all their way. I felt like it was going to be quite hard for you guys to come back. But if any team was going to do it, as you said, it was you. And, I mean, it's a nice little insight saying, Fags, I was about to say Bevo, Fags comes up and tells you guys to play with the freedom and just you've got nothing to lose. It's funny, you've got to kind of be in that situation where you're down by so much to actually let the shackles go, where, you tend to find early in close games, you might be a little bit, hesitant with how you want to move the footy or a little bit safe with how you want to move it. It was clearly evident when Fags did say that, and then going into that last quarter, I think the 3 goals you guys kicked prior to the last quarter, I think it was 3 or 4, and then I think that Giants kicked a couple just before 3/4 time. But you could just see you guys were playing completely different to how you were playing in that first half. It must have given you, I guess, an enormous amount of confidence post the win that, our footy stacks up against the best. The Giants, arguably, probably the hardest team to beat at their own home ground. Now you come up against a team that is, probably the flag favourites considering how they beat Port Adelaide in that first final. It must give you an abundance of confidence knowing that, you guys were able to essentially play, unbelievable football for 40 minutes of that last 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I would say 1.5, to be honest. So that was probably how much of our footy we played the other night. But gives us a massive amount of confidence. I will say I was very impressed, in those moments where you're 44 points down and you know what it's like players, you can sort of start to go into your shell a little bit. The whole group, including Fags, were just positive the whole time. And it was like, righto, we still believe that we can do this. And then in that, there was just this added element of confidence, and that just shone through. And as you said, after the game, everyone was really pumped, and I assume everyone would be, but coming out of a situation like that definitely gives us confidence now, because if we're 44 points down in the future, whenever it might be, you've got confidence that you can do it as a group. So I think it's a great thing. Got a lot of momentum at the back end of the game, and hopefully we can carry that into this week as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess talking a little bit more about the game as well, because I do have a couple of questions. What was probably the big difference for you from the first 2.5 quarters to the last 1.25? I mean, you say you played with freedom, but what does that look like?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like every time you go into a game, you've always got plans in place. You've reviewed them. You know what they're going to do in these situations, and our ability to adapt across the whole game. Whatever they threw at us early on, we probably weren't adapting to. But then after halftime, I felt like we were really starting to understand what they were doing, and because of the education that we'd had and we'd worked on throughout the week, we knew what to expect. So we dealt with it a lot better. And then when I say freedom, it's probably more around just backing ourselves in to win it rather than, following them around and letting them dictate terms. Why don't we just go in there and win the footy and, compete in the air and whatever it might be, and just have that inner confidence so we can beat them.
And then you look towards the end, obviously Joe Danaher takes that enormous mark. I mean, as Brado was telling us before, Sam Taylor's only lost 2 one-on-ones for the year, and that was one of them, which was, 2 minutes to go in the game, which was just enormous. I mean, it goes back to what I was saying, where you guys got the ball, you won it back off half back, you kicked it forward. I don't know who got the ball, but as soon as he turned, he just kicked it long, and there was Joe one-on-one. It just looked like that was the freedom that you guys possessed. Will that be you can't say that's necessarily the game plan, but will that be something that, hopefully you can take into the Geelong game this week?
Yeah, I think it's something that, you're always picking up little things along the journey, and we've had a, up and down season at the start of the year, and then, built some momentum towards the back end. But every week you're picking up little learnings, and on the weekend, that was probably the biggest learning I feel, is that the fact that, we were sort of letting them dictate to us rather than flipping the script and, really dictating to them. So I felt like that's something that, definitely that the boys will pick up on and the coaches will feed back to us throughout the week that we can take into this week and into the future as well.
How would you compare your team from this time last year? Obviously, last year you guys were heading into the prelim against Carlton. Obviously, straight through. This time you've done it the harder way. Where do you compare yourself?
Another good question, mate. I personally think that we are in a better position this year than what we were last year. That's just my opinion. I just feel, as I said just then, like around the learnings and whatnot, like when you're not going so well, everyone's challenged. And as a group, you know what it's like. When you're challenged as a group, you can either choose to stick together or you can choose to just go off in your own ways and, play individually and just go out there and not win games of football. And our group is just, we talked about it at the time, they were choices, and every single person was all about, let's choose to just do this together. Let's go to war together. Let's go in there, backs against the wall, all season. And we've built this really unique culture, and the relationships are just incredible at the moment. So the boys are really, really close and got each other's back. So I feel like, those types of learnings that you do have definitely hold you in good stead when it comes to on field, because you got that trust that your teammate's going to be right there for you.
Yeah, well, it's certainly shown that, especially in times when you guys need it. My last question, more of an insight from what you think. Who impressed you out there? What individuals really impressed you? Could have been, I don't want you to say this, the Harris Andrews and the Lockie Neals. I'm sure there are players that really stood up in moments or even in just periods of the game that were, very valuable for their experience going forward.
Yeah, I think there was a few boys that deserve mentions, and you talk about the Cal Archies. I thought he's not just this week, but his whole season's been very consistent. He's been an incredible player for us since he's found his role in the team, and he deserves a lot of credit for what he's been able to do, in recent weeks, especially. But Noah Answorth, another one that you and I both know really well, and he's come into the team after being injured, like started the year in the team and then went out because he had an injury, and then sort of kept getting injured and couldn't quite get back into the team. But now he's back in and he's just playing an unbelievable role for us. All those guys, Zach Bailey's playing a lot more, up the field instead of deep forward. So there's so many different roles that go on in a team that help us. Jasper Fletcher, a young kid, Will Ashcroft, another young kid that's, they're just playing really good roles for us. So without those role players, we definitely wouldn't be able to play the way that we play. And it does take 23 role players on the day to get the job done, though.
Certainly agree. And those players you mentioned were probably the ones that really stood out to me. And I mean, I must, from a fan watching, I must give a special mention to Ashy. I feel like I have watched a lot of Brisbane games, and he's probably statistically had better games, but I feel like when you guys really needed a lift or a spark offensively, he really gave that to you. And, you and I speak often about footy, obviously, and we spoke about just his balance and, his ability to keep his feet and then be able to create by bringing his teammate into it, by drawing defenders or whatever it may be. Really felt like that was on show on the weekend, and, was probably his most influential game that I've definitely watched.
Yeah, we all know the professional that he is. You'd see his social stuff and all the work that he does behind the scenes. But to see him do that in a massive game, that's his second final of his career. It's his second year. It's probably only probably his 20th game or 20 or 30 games in. So to see a young player do that, just incredible. So we've got to keep harnessing that energy, and I feel like that's what our young boys are bringing to our team at the moment, just all that energy and finding a way to play their role, which is really important for us.
Yeah, we certainly do. We may as well touch on this game this week as well. Keep the footy bubble in the same timeline on the podcast. Obviously, an enormous game this week. You're playing Geelong on the Saturday, 5:15 p.m. Kim and I will be there with our Josh Dunkley badges and cheering on you boys. Hopefully you guys get the job done. But, talk us through the mindset going into the game. Talk us through the week, when you guys are heading down, how you're going to approach this game. Obviously, it's a do-or-die clash for you.
Yeah, our mindset doesn't change. I feel like, we've had the same mindset from round or whenever our mid-season bye was. So every week's been exactly the same kind of preparation. We know the Cats are an incredible side. Seeing them a couple of weeks ago do what they did to Port Adelaide was incredible. So fully respect the way that they go about it. And yeah, we're going to have to be at our best, as I say every week. But in terms of the week, the routine doesn't really change. Just Monday's Monday, Tuesday's Tuesday. We head down, I think, Friday for a captain's run on the G and open session, I think, with the fans there, which would be cool. And then play Saturday night. So, moved on pretty quickly from this last game. Everyone can sort of get stuck with it and you keep talking about it. And, everyone's asking you about it, but the boys are pretty focused on what's ahead. And, we came into a team meeting straight after the game after we'd sort of seen our families, and Fags was like, righto, enjoy tonight. Wake up tomorrow, we're all Geelong. So that's the way that it's been over the last few days, all about Geelong. And yeah, hopefully we can go down there and get the 4 points, or not 4 points, but get the win.
I mean, yeah, how'd you guys go against them this year? I actually don't remember.
We played them up here in the pouring rain. It was like monsoon kind of rain. And
I do remember now, yes.
We lost Big O, and I went in the ruck. I actually went all right in the ruck. Going back to me doggies days, mate, when I was playing in the ruck. I actually rucked. Yeah. It's a funny story. I rucked against Lobby when he was playing for the Giants at Canberra in a centre bounce. And I remember thinking, I'm a chance here. So I've run up and I've jumped, and Lobby's knee has hit me square in the neck, and he's just gone up for this like massive hanger. I just remember it clear as day. I was like, I'm never jumping again in the centre bounce.
So midweek, would you practice centre bounce stuff?
Yeah, in the hub when we were up here in the Gold Coast, I was practicing like genuine ruck craft with Timmy English in the hub.
So you were jumping into the specky bag, doing tap work.
Yep, and all the mids were in front of me. And I had to like call a hit, and they'd go and get it.
What do you reckon your career high hit outs were?
Yeah, I'd love to know. Yeah. Look it up, Brader. That'd be a good one to know at the end of the potty.
Yeah, that would be elite to know. Anyway, we're getting lost there. So, you probably can't take much from that game considering you were in the ruck and Big O's playing and it was a bit wet. But have you looked at that game at all?
We looked at a little bit today when we did our Oppo analysis, but it's hard to judge because, as you said, it was a very wet night. Losing a few players. Big O was really important for us that night, who went down with concussion, I think it was. So, yeah, there was a few different things. But like I said before, you can only judge Geelong on their recent form, and that's been quite impressive. Their last two games, Port Adelaide at Adelaide, and they, touched them up, like I said. And then the one before that was West Coast at home, where they were 100 points up at halftime. So, going to be a massive challenge for us, but I'm sure everyone's ready. We'll be ready to go and very excited for the opportunity to get down there and play on the MCG in a prelim final.
Yeah, that is exciting. What about, what's your thoughts on, where can you beat Geelong? What do you think? What are your initial thoughts? I know you've probably got to do a little bit more Oppo analysis, but obviously watching them, you've watched enough of Geelong, and we all know how Geelong play, but, what are the keys to trying to stop them?
Yeah, I always look at who's beaten them, and you guys have beaten them. And I asked you the other night, actually, while we're having a nice, beautiful steak.
Nice tomahawk.
I asked you what your focuses are against them, and how you play, their style, because that's what you can. I feel like it's a little bit of a trap of theirs. Like they try and get you to play the way that they want to, and play into their hands almost. So, being able to back ourselves in, like we talked about at the end of the last game against the Giants, we did. So little things like that, I think, will help us. And, not falling into the trap of playing into their hands is definitely going to be something where we're looking to do on Saturday night. I'm not going to give away all our tricks, mate, but there's a couple of little examples.
Yeah, well, mate, it's going to be a ripper. I can't wait. We all wish you all the very best. As I said, Kim and I will be there in the crowd cheering you on, but I wish I was in your position, but I wish you all the very best. Hopefully, you boys can get the job done.
Thank you, mate. Hopefully, we'll be back here next week. Be good.
Hopefully. Let's talk about the other game and then preview the other game, then we can move on footy. The Friday night game, Port v Hawthorn, mate, that was, both finals were as good as were unbelievable to watch, but that was an incredible game from start to finish.
It was. I watched that whole thing. Like, I was in my hotel room. We stayed out in Parramatta, and Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was insane. What a game. Like, you could really tell that Port they came out with this intent that they wanted to really make, the Hawks worried initially, and then the Hawks just found a way back into the game, and it was going either way the whole way. I thought it was going to be a draw in the end, and the Hawks definitely had opportunities to win it, but credit to Port for sticking fat and making sure that they could get across the line.
As you said, I feel like it is credit to Port. They've clearly been ridiculed heaps the last 2 weeks really, and obviously their qualifying final wasn't ideal. They got hammered at home, but I mean, I don't know who the favourites were going into this. I feel like Hawthorn might have been considering how well they played against us, but they had every right to not say roll over, but get rolled by a barnstorming Hawthorn side who had all the momentum going into this game. And then even in that last quarter when Hawthorn were coming, like, it just felt like far out Hawthorn might win this. And obviously they had a shot with Sicily, but I feel like a lot of credit needs to go to them because Port Adelaide this is because of, the challenges that they've faced, and it could really set them up for, like, no one's going to tip them against Sydney in Sydney. Not one person's going to tip them, but it could really, really set them up to, really believe in each other. They've only got each other because there's not going to be many Port Adelaide fans, and maybe shock the world and beat Sydney.
I personally think it's a chance because the last 8 times they've played each other, Port have won. So there's genuine history there that says that they trouble the Swans. So, and the last game that they played against each other was at 100-point flogging in Adelaide, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
So, they'll be really confident. They'll be quietly confident, but I reckon in their 4 walls that they would be they'd be up and about this contest.
I think the best thing for them is they're playing away from home. So there's no expectation. That's the thing. There's no expectation. They've got nothing to lose, as you say, and, no one's going to tip him. So they're going to go there with, no shackles on, just ready to rock and roll, and just who knows? Like, I'm really, really looking forward to this game. And then you look on the flip side of Sydney, obviously, their last 10 weeks probably weren't ideal, and they just scrape over the line in that qualifying final. But, you've got to be peaking at the right time, and they've well and truly earned their – I finished first and then well and truly earned their game. They must be, on the flip side, super excited for this contest. And, as I've just said to you before, they could come out and, the game could be over at quarter time just because of the rest, the amount of confidence they've got. Their players are up and about. They've got some quality across the whole field. Isaac Heaney's probably best player in the competition at the moment, and his game in the qualifying final was incredible. But, mate, it could go either way.
Yeah, it could. I'm looking forward to seeing how that game plays out because, having a week off is always nice when you've got a few injuries and whatnot, and the Swans have had those. So to get a few guys, raring to go for this prelim final is going to be important to watch and see, I reckon. If they can come out early and make it a hostile environment for Port, it's going to be a hard one to get on top of. But on the flip side, if Port can, arrest their momentum early and use it the other way and score like they did against the Hawks, I reckon it's going to be a massive game. It's going to be a huge game.
Agreed. I do want to give a shout out to Hawthorn Footy Club. We've spoken about them a lot this year, and mate, they're going to be scary, scary good for a very, very long time. And if they get, obviously, Tom Barras, there's talk about him going there, talk about Josh Battle going there. That means they can play, Josh Weddle or someone up around the ball. Like, they've got some, an enormous potential to be another genuine contender for years and years to come. They play an unbelievable brand of footy and were very stiff not to win on the weekend, but they're going to be very good for a very long time.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think, next year, I think I saw something today actually saying that they should go into next year as flag favourites, which is probably fair. I think, to be honest with you, like the way that they might recruit and then trade in and get players in that are going to help them be even better than what they were this year, then, it'd be interesting to see.
It will be. And they're a joy to watch. As a guy who watches footy away from you and my game, I actually thoroughly enjoy watching Hawthorn because of the way they play and the brand of footy that they play. let's do our give some love because this is still footy. So we'll give some love. I've got my player first. I want to give it to a Port Adelaide player who was, in my mind, the clear best player on the ground by a mile. And I don't know what game it was for him, but it was a coming-of-age game for him, and it's going to be huge for his just confidence, and it's Jace Burgoyne. Felt like
the same.
Did ya? Oh, good minds think alike, mate. He, from start to finish, was the best player on the ground. Do you genuinely agree, right? Yes, he's class, he's poised, he used the ball well, he was courageous in the air, kicked a nice goal towards the end. His running ability as a winger to get back and help out. There's so many times you see him, like at the top of the screen, essentially sliding and helping out. Like, mate, I thought it was a wonderful game to watch.
Yeah, I think he was playing a lot more halfback as well on the night, which was a new role for him. And I heard him talk about it after the game when he got interviewed. But yeah, because they've lost all their halfbacks, he had to go back there, and Ryan Burton was out the day before, so that's why he had to go back there definitely. And the thing that stood out for me was his courage, like his courage in the air for such a light frame. He was putting his body on the line, and I'm sure all his teammates would have looked at that and been like, we've got to follow this bloke. So massive to do in your, early on in your career. And I'm not sure what number final that is for him, even what number game, but it'll be pretty early on, I must admit. So credit to him.
Certainly was. Doing the Burgoyne name proud. What a superstar.
Yep. And
then it'd be remiss of me not to mention what happened at the end of the game with obviously Kenny and Jack Ginnivan. What was your thoughts on that?
So Personally, I don't really see much in it, but it is what it is. I think the AFL dealt with it, gave him a bit of a fine, but yeah, I don't mind seeing a bit of character in the game. I wasn't a huge judger of it.
Yeah, I agree, and not somewhat knowing or seeing what Jack Ginnivan is like. You want more characters like that. You want guys who can be themselves and show what they're like and not cop, backlash for it. And I said a couple of weeks ago or whenever it was that he talks the talk, but he comes out and walks the walk, in my opinion. And, he's a very good player. He's a very, very good player. And sometimes that could get lost with, fans that don't like him, but he is a good player and he suits the Hawthorn style and the Hawthorn system. And yeah, his footy is a byproduct of how they play and plays some really good footy. So I was the same as you, mate. I obviously can see where, it might look a little bit odd, but it's just friendly banter. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. And as you said, the AFL dealt with it, but I thought it was quite humorous. Watching, you could see that you could only see Kenny and you were like, I don't think he's talking to a Port Adelaide player there. And then obviously you see it unfold. You were about to say something. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, what would you – so Jack Ginnivan puts something on his social media that like the week that you were playing him, for example, say he did that in the week that you were playing him, that 100% gets brought up at the club and the boys talk about it, and it does give you motivation to beat them, doesn't it?
Well, I think it does, yeah, definitely. And in the day and age, you see it now. It's all over socials and whatnot. Yeah. But I mean, I guess for me, it's not like it gives you extra motivation, but it's not the whole reason, It's probably in the back of your mind, but you're not you're not like, oh my gosh, Jack Ginnivan said this. I'm just going to go out there and I just want to win because he said this. Like, you know what I mean? So I like it because you see it we very much love our American sports, mate. You see it at every second play of the game. If it's an NFL game in particular, if you catch the ball in your defender, you see it like they're in each other's face from the get-go. So even Justin Jefferson the other day, I don't know if you've seen that interview, but they asked him about, did you watch the vision of, was it Jamar Chase or someone? But did you watch the vision of how they defended Jamar Chase or something like that? And he goes, don't mean to be rude, but I'm not Jamar Chase. So it's just like, I'm Justin Jefferson. Like, I like that. It's cool. It's cool as. Do you agree?
I agree. But like everyone that plays footy and coaches footy and that's involved in footy, even sport in general, we're all competitive beasts. Like we all love it and we want to win. So you're going out there and you're looking for every little bit of motivation, edge, whatever it might be to make sure that you can go out there and perform well. So yeah, like the other night, example, listen to this. This is before the game. We're doing our centre bounce practice, and Big Mummy and the Giants boys were all lined up waiting for us to finish because they were like, he was like 10 seconds. Mummy was like 10 seconds. And I sort of walked away saying, I just thought to myself, geez, I'd love to beat him now because of that.
That's funny as the Mummy's done that a couple times now, hasn't he?
Yeah,
no,
he has.
It was Mason Cox, wasn't it, when he ran into Mummy in that game or whatever it was?
Oh, that's right. It's all tongue in cheek and it's all fun and games. Like I don't see an issue in that. It's fine. I love it.
Nah, neither do I. Well, it's gonna be an unbelievable round of prelim finals. Obviously, you get to the luxury of watching the first prelim and envisioning if you guys win who you're playing. But as I said, once again, all the very best from all of us here. Hopefully, you guys get the job done. But it's going to be a great week of finals.
Thank you, mate. Hopefully, a good one for us.
I hope so. That's it for footy. Actually, touch on our VFL boys. Your boys lost and our boys lost. I was disappointed with that. It would have been cool to see, obviously, a Brisbane Footscray VFL final. But yes, you boys got overrun in the end, and we just didn't have enough time left. We were coming hard, but then obviously couldn't. So, yeah, disappointing.
Yeah, it was. I watched a bit of both games. Definitely watched our game a lot, but saw the end of your guys' game, and yeah, both were nail biters. It's just unfortunate that we didn't both get the win, but yeah, I thought our VFL boys tried really hard. Like unbelievable effort from them to go down there and because we had 3 carryover, so 3 guys were emergencies for the AFL, so they couldn't go, and it's 3 of your better players in the VFL: Darragh Joyce, Darcy Fort, and Harry Sharp.
Yep, and
those guys couldn't play. So had they have played, there may have been a different result. Who knows? But in the end, I thought we tried really hard, and yeah, just loved the boys' effort on the day, and unfortunately didn't get the win. But yeah, I'm sure the boys will be back bigger, better than ever next year.
Same as our Footscray boys. Obviously, we were extremely disappointed. Obviously our AFL boys are out, so we were supporting real hard and went out there, and there was literally rain, hail, and sunshine during the game, mate. There was genuinely rain, hail, and sunshine. So Melbourne really turned it on. I got to watch the boys play. And as I said, very disappointing because, as a teammate, you want to watch them win and play well. And we knew Southport were, there's a reason why every single year they're always thereabouts. And, yeah, mate, there was a favourable breeze going one way, and we gave ourselves a 5-goal margin we had to make up, and we just left it too late. We had a shot with about 22-minute mark and missed it, and then we had another shot at 25-minute mark to go a goal behind, and we just couldn't capitalise. So that was disappointing. But what I was watching was on my phone in the hail, Mr. Brightside win the Maccabi Diva Stakes. Did you watch that race?
Yeah, I did watch that race, mate. I was there watching that one.
Oh, Mr. Brightside. I always say to you, that's my boy. I'm always going to get on him, even when, he might be first up or whatever it may be, where he doesn't run too well. But, oh, mate, I love when good horses are back, and Pride of Jenny's back, Brightside's back. Obviously, VS Sistina didn't run overly well, but, mate, what a race. It's exciting for us because we've got the Spring Carnival in our eyes, and when we'll be up in Queensland and down in Melbourne. But it was a good race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It is. It's great to see the good horses back. When you see that they're coming to run on a Saturday, it's like you buckle yourself in. So I must admit, I'm looking forward to the Spring Carnival and seeing how all the good horses go, and obviously spending some time with you, mate. It'd be good. Yes,
and our Saturdays at Eagle Farm, which will be really fun. I cannot wait to watch that. Hopefully that guy comes up to again last time. I forgot his name, but he told us on the Saturday before the Tuesday Melbourne Cup to back.
He did.
Remember, he told us to back the winner, and we were both just like, yeah, whatever. We're gonna back our boy because who are we on? We were on. Who are we on? We were on. He won it a couple of years ago.
Gold Trip.
Gold Trip. Yes. So we were on Gold Trip. We were like, yeah, whatever. We're going to stay on Gold Trip. And then obviously his horse comes out and wins. So hopefully he's there during the Spring Carnival. We can have a listen. The bloom of the week. What's your bloom of the week?
Well, my bloom of the week it has to be Joey Danaher for me. Like the way that he was able to stand up late in the game and keep those two important goals for us was insane. And I saw a thing today saying that from that pocket on that side with his left foot, he's the most accurate ever by a long way. So when he got the ball, there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to kick those goals. So he's my bloom of the week.
Well, it was quite interesting because I think Lachie Neale and was it Cam Rayner? They were both there. So they're both right footers, and Joey comes sprinting over grabbing the ball, which is, well, mate, you know your goal kickers. So that's a good bloom of the week. My bloom of the week is team. And I feel like we, for some reason, haven't spoken much about this team and this comp much this year, but we both love it. Well, it's my team. It used to be your team. Melbourne Storm. So,
oh yes,
they're my bloom of the week because they have just stormed their way into no pun intended. I'm funny, aren't I? They have just stormed their way. They have stormed their way into the prelim final after a 37-10 win against Cronulla on Saturday. They obviously won the minor premiership by 2 games, so they've had a dominant season. Hopefully, Jerome Hughes wins the Dally M, and they've got their players firing at the right time. I think Harry Grant had a try, had a hat trick of tries on the weekend. So, yeah, mate, we haven't spoken about the NRL much at all this year, which is weird for us because we tend to speak about it. But my Storm boys, and I know deep down because I know you're a Dolphins man, but I know deep down they are your Storm boys as well. But they're my bloom of the week because they're flying at the moment.
I like it. Deservingly so. They've been unbelievable this year, and I think they're going to go all the way. So to the Clubhouse boys, all the best in the coming weeks. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, they'll be excited. My great friend, as you know, Casey, he loves his NRL, and he's still adamant for some reason that it'll be a Panthers Storm grand final. So, that's not a world-beating comment to say, but Panthers, isn't it just crazy, right? This is what I think. When I watch Panthers without Nathan Cleary, they are, nowhere near as good as they are without him, if you know what I mean. With him in their team, mate, he makes their team. Like, I don't know any other player that has such a big impact on a team in many sports. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's glaring that when he's in the team that they are a force to be reckoned with when he's playing. He's unbelievable.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. He's so freaking good. And I keep thinking back to the grand final last year where he literally single-handedly won in the game against the Broncos. But anyway, that's my bloom of the week. We've got to talk. We've got to talk before you name the winners and whatnot. NFL. So people who obviously listened to our potty last week, Josh and I played against each other in one of our leagues, my favourite league, and he beat me. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm a realist. I went into this round, knowing that my team is straight ass. Like, I know we suck. I suck. So I had no expectation, and he came away and beat me. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm 0-2 in that league. Dunks is 2-0, I think, which is just unbelievable because it's annoying. But anyway, well done, mate. I just thought I'd give you your kudos.
I like it. This is the first time I've beaten you in that league too, I reckon. So you would be feeling it. Deep down, you would be feeling it. I know you very well. And anything that I beat you at, you hate. So I'm happy. It makes me happy. That's given me a bit of energy, actually.
Well, we lost in our American Aces League that we're in a team together against Crosby and Naughty, which pisses me off because CMC is their star player. He got injured. He's not even playing. And Isaiah Pacheco, who's their other star player, hurt himself mid-game, and they still beat us. So disappointed with that result as well, but all good. We move on, mate. This week, bigger and better things to come.
I like it. Hey, I've got one for you this week. It was going to be my bloom of the week, but I've got a bit of a funny one for you. So as I said before, we stayed out in Parramatta, and the Sea Eagles were staying out there too. So the NRL, they were playing the next day on the Sunday. So they came in on the Saturday and they all rolled in. Didn't really cross paths much, but I was just going down to the pool to do some recovery before the game, just to get myself feeling good, pool, spa, whatever, just get moving a little bit. I followed out of the lift these two, like they must have been either support staff or physios or whatever they, like S&C, I'm not sure. But they had their gear on. We're walking through the hotel, going out to the pool. There's this massive glass door before you get into the pool that you have to scan your card on and open. You then pull the door open. And these two blokes are walking, and the one in front, I'm like, shit, he's going pretty fast. Like, surely he's going to slow down in the second here. Next minute, absolute boom, straight into the door. His head's hit the door. And I was like 2 meters behind him and just started pissing myself off.
Did you say anything?
I was just like, no way you've just done that. Because we're in the elevator. We're in the awkward chat elevator stuff, that awkward chat that you get in the elevator. So I'd barely even spoken to him. Next minute, I'm pissing myself laughing at him because he's ran into the door.
Oh, my gosh. That is hilarious.
So I was going to ask you whether you've ever done that before, because I know a few people that have done that. Like, I've seen it happen.
Not that. So you're saying he was walking into, was there like two doors, one opens and one doesn't, and he walked into the one that doesn't open?
No. So you got to scan your card on the thing. It's just more of a glass door. Like it was glass door. You can see the handle on the door. You scan the card and you just pull it open. He's just walked straight into it, mate.
Well, knowing me, and I feel like you know me, I've definitely done it before. Probably just opened the door too. Like I've opened the door and moved too fast to walk out, if you know what I mean. The door hasn't opened enough and I've just gone straight into it and cracked the shits and blown the door and bagged the door and moved on. So, yeah, I've probably done it. But that's hilarious. Hey, did you say the Manly Sea Eagles?
Yes.
They're from Sydney though, right?
Yeah, they are. So a lot of NRL teams actually, well, I don't know if, sorry, I shouldn't say a lot. I know there's a few NRL teams that go on camp together the night before they play.
I didn't know.
So that's what they do.
Oh, right. And they were playing, wait, where did they play?
They played at a core stadium.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty, I thought just because you're in the same state, you just travel to the game. That's actually pretty cool. Well, there you go. Well, thanks for that story, man. That was funny. I could just envision that and I would have been pissing myself. And then I would have said, oh, you all good, mate? You all good? As you're laughing. No, full well that is not all good.
Funny. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it because it was so obvious that there was a door there.
Well done, mate. It's almost like those funny YouTube videos of dogs running into doors. I'm not sure if you've seen that, mate. I'm no Brado would have, but that is hilarious. Dogs running into doors because they do the exact same thing.
Into doors.
So dogs running in, thinking the door's open, straight into the door.
Geez, you watch the weirdest stuff. You watch the weirdest stuff on YouTube.
How's that weird? Like, it must be weird for the 2 million other people that are watching it.
In the world.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, you got the winners for us for last week?
I've got one here from Sonny Anstis. My bloom of the week is Kirk Cousins' last drive today against the Eagles. Was amazing.
Oh, yeah. That was amazing.
With that little time left, he had 5 from 6 completions in that last drive, also with no timeouts left. Good luck this week, Dunks. So that's one of our winners. And thanks for sending that in, Sonny. And then our next one is Masood Sheki 2191. It goes, yo, guys, my Brookes Bloom of the week is Tom Papley. Had his first game back in like 6 weeks and he had 16 and kicked 2 and set up a goal to make the scores level and the goal to win the game. So there's another one for us. So thanks to those two for sending in their questions. Also, their blooms of the week, and we'll send out the gear. Make sure we get in touch. So thanks for your support. What do you got this week? We've got one more week, mate. This is our last episode, or second last episode. Next week's going to be our last. What do you got for next week? What should they send in?
No, just give us your predictions for the prelim finals.
All right, see who gets nearest to pin.
Yep.
Kick us off with yours. Give us your predictions. I want to hear them.
I think Sydney will win. I reckon they'll win by 35 points. And then...
shit.
Yep. And then I'm going to go Brisbane by 28.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
Give us your predictions, mate, other than your game.
I'll go with Port
By how much?
by a fingernail, a point or two.
Which is about 1. Okay. Nice. All right. Well, good segue to bring Brado in because then Brado can give us his tips.
Well, obviously Brisbane. Brisbane get the job done easy. I reckon,
Sure.
what'd you say, 28? I reckon at least 40 dunks, 30 touches, probably 30 tackles. Get that.
Yes.
He needs more triple doubles. He's got to lift
He
that
does.
up. And then, well, who cares who wins on the other side because Brisbane will just win the flag anyway. So I will jump into your hit-out stats because you finally left me a crumb this week that I could latch on to. And it's actually quite interesting what your ruck stats are. I will start with ads because you've had 16 career hit-outs, which is actually impressive when you break it down because you've been the starting ruck 7 times. So obviously the others were third up.
Third man up.
You've been the starting ruck 7 times and you've got 7 hit-outs to advantage.
Mate, just a battle of strength. That's all it is. Joshy knows. Battle of strength.
That's
Move him out of the way and
impressive.
just hit it.
That's impressive. Now, I'll tell you what's not impressive is Dunks' history as a ruckman because it is.
Here we go.
is
Here
rough.
we go.
Dunks has been the starting ruckman at a ruck contest 327 times, according to the AFL website. That's a lot of times.
That is.
For a total career hitouts, 57. So percentage probably not quite there. Of that 57, 10 hitouts to advantage. So
that's
three
not
more,
bad.
3 more than ads. But in 2020, the piece de resistance, what a year he had in 2020, 98 ruck contests. All that practice would have paid off because you trained it. We heard you say that you trained hard. Your ruck craft, 98 ruck contests for 12 hitouts and 2 to advantage. So 98 ruck contests, 2 hitouts to advantage.
You need to find those. You need to find them.
It's going to be a lot of work, but we can comb through and find you 2 hitouts to advantage in 2020. 10 hitouts to advantage in 327 starting ruck contests is quite impressive.
That's pretty crazy. That's crazy.
That
That is
crazy.
crazy.
That's good. Well done, Brado.
320.
Anyway, that's all I got for you.
So
Love it.
all I know out of that convo, Joshy, is I'm a more efficient ruckman out of the two of us.
Maybe you should have taken the ruck, but you never wanted to put your hand up to take the ruck.
More than happy to, mate. Battle of strength. I'll get my weight back up to 91 kilos and I'll just wrestle you in the ruck.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it then. Me versus you in the ruck.
Yeah. Nah, let's not do that anymore. I'm a fragile, skinny boy. But all good, mate. All good. Well, all the very best. You can wrap the show up like always, but I'm just going to say all the very best for the third time. Hope you get the job done. Can't wait to be talking to you next week leading into the granny.
Thanks, mate. Yep, we'll wrap it up there. Another cracking episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week, hopefully with a win on the board.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' 3-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space.